Welcome to my bed talk again. I honestly think this may be my last video talking on my bed. Very bittersweet and exciting. But anyways, today I just wanted to talk about some study abroad realities and share my experience as a way to help people who are possibly planning to study abroad or maybe even are already studying abroad to mentally prepare, and to also remind you that you are not alone in certain thoughts and feelings and experiences. I feel like there's this big picture of it that you see of everyone traveling and like meeting new people from around the world and just being away from your home and everything for so long, and it can be very romanticized. So I just wanted to share some realities and my personal experience. And I'm kind of going to go in chronological order in like the ways that I experienced these feelings, like since the beginning to now, which is like pretty much the end. It's so crazy. So to start, one study abroad reality is that you kind of feel FOMO 24/7. FOMO meaning the fear of missing out. I mentioned this in another video, but you're in an environment where everyone else around you, if you're surrounded by other study abroad students, everyone is like traveling and going out, like doing all kinds of cool things, and sometimes that's just not what you're doing, and that's totally okay. But I do feel like at some point you're like, oh damn, like I really wish I could be doing this right now, but I'm so tired, or like I have a lot of homework, or like I don't have enough money to actually go travel and go out so much and everything. So in the other video I also mentioned that just like honoring yourself and doing things that truly make you happy and realizing that this is your own experience, and it's okay to not do things the same way that other people aren't doing them, because this is your unique experience. But there is definitely that feeling when you feel like you're missing out on doing things that people are doing here, but you're also missing out on doing things that people are doing back at home. Because at home, you'll probably most likely miss out on things like birthdays and holidays or graduations or significant events, all of the things that are still happening at home while you're not there. Yeah, there is definitely that feeling that you might be missing out on something. Before studying abroad, I'd actually like talked to some people about it, and they're like, oh, that's one thing that I wish that I had done during my college experience, is to go study abroad, but I didn't want to miss out on whatever was going on at home. And honestly, I felt this FOMO very strongly in the beginning. Like whenever my family would go surfing and stuff, I'd be like, dang, I wish I could be there, especially when it was like a gloomy day. Just really be in your feels for certain things like that. But at the same time, like growing up, I think you just have to realize that you're not going to be able to be there for everything that you want to be there for. Because whether you're at home or whether you're abroad in another country, it's always going to be like a part of you that might wish that they were somewhere else. And that is why it's so important to practice presence and appreciate where you are and your situation right now, because that's honestly all you can do. Definitely easier said than done sometimes, but yeah, so just a heads up, it is normal to feel these feelings, and if you're feeling like this, you're definitely not alone. It's all a part of the experience, honestly. But moving on, I don't really know how to word this, so I'll just say social realities. And in saying this, I basically just mean that the people that you hang out with in the beginning might not be the same people that you hang out with in the end, and this definitely goes beyond just studying abroad. But yeah, for studying abroad, I feel like in the beginning everyone's really excited and we're all still getting to know each other, still getting settled, and we kind of just want to be out and like doing things and exploring. It's just like in the beginning everyone's excited, but like throughout time things might change, and it doesn't necessarily mean that something bad has to happen. It just means that like you're figuring out your place here and you're figuring out like who you want to be around and what you want to do. It can be kind of tricky to find your people to hang out with, because in a way, honestly, you're kind of limited, because study abroad students mostly hang out with study abroad students, because the local students here, they have a life here, while the study abroad students are mostly here for the same reason, which is to like be abroad and travel. Honestly, one of the biggest lessons that I've learned here is that I'm an introvert, and I never realized this before. Here and trying different things and being around different people, I really had to like think about the way that I felt with certain people. Last thing that you want to do, or the last thing that I wanted to do, was spend my time and energy with people that I wasn't 100% comfortable with. And it's nothing against anybody else, honestly, it's just about doing what's best for you, and yeah, just finding the people that you really vibe with overall. So yeah, I learned that I'm an introvert, and I honestly ended up doing a lot of things alone, and I really appreciated that. And it wasn't just because I'm introverted and I didn't want to hang out with people or whatnot, but it's also just because people can also be on their own agenda. They have their own thing that they want to do. They might not be interested in the same things as you, or they might not have the energy to go do the same things as you. Maybe you're a morning person, maybe some people are a night person. Yeah, that's just something to keep in mind. Anyways, back to the main idea, which is the social realities, just knowing that people that you hang out with in the beginning might not be the same people that you hang out with in the end, or even like throughout the rest of the time that you hang out with can change over time because you're meeting new people, you're wanting to do different things. Also, just keeping an open mind for hanging out with different people. Even if you're an introvert and enjoy spending time with yourself, doing things with different people is very fun. Nice because like studying abroad is an experience that you go through with this group of people, and like you can talk about these things, and yeah, it's just a shared experience that you can really connect over. Okay, and moving on into the next study abroad reality. I can only speak for myself about this, but I'm pretty sure it is a shared reality, and it's that you learn a lot about yourself. Being in this different environment means you're around different people, your room is different, your classes are different, the way that you dress might be different because of the weather, your interests might change because you're not able to do the same things that you did back at home. Coming from Hawaii, my interests were like surfing and going to the beach, going hiking. I would work on my business all the time. I would have work. So my life in Hawaii is very different from what my life looks like here. And in that sense, that is like how you learn about who you are, what you like in a different environment. That's honestly what's so unique about study abroad. You have the opportunity to do different things and to just learn about yourself. Really interesting because trying new things is either like, oh wow, where has this been all my life? Or you're like, okay, this isn't for me. There's like this quote that goes like, better an oh well than a what if. If you didn't have these certain experiences, then you wouldn't know. But now that you do have these experiences, then you know, like you either really like it or it's just something that's not for you, and that's okay. In terms of learning about yourself during study abroad, it's basically just the fact that you have to depend on yourself so much more, especially because you're in another country. Whether it's like socially and you're like trying to figure out who you want to hang out with and spend your time with. Yeah, and like when things go wrong, it feels like 100 times harder, but once you overcome that, it feels also 100 times better, and you learn to have this trust and confidence in yourself. Okay, pause. We have a cleaner lady that comes to clean our rooms every Tuesday, and she's usually done by now, but she's vacuuming. I don't know if you can hear it. So yeah, just pausing and letting her do her thing. I don't know if she's completely done cleaning, so if there's like some background noise, then that is what it is. Yeah, you definitely learn a lot about yourself, and whether that's just like finding different interests, things you like, whether it's like making new friends, building this overall trust with yourself, and learning to be more open-minded about situations and the way that we handle situations, the way that we present ourselves and the way that we carry ourselves. Yeah, you really learn a lot. And then going into probably one of the most realistic study abroad realities, I think, is that it's just expensive. Even if you're not big on spending money and you don't usually spend money, which is how I was when I was at home, I would never eat out, I would never shop, I would never like go to the movies or like pay to do things like that. A really big part of this experience is actually doing those things. There's the option to get like a working visa if you have to work while being here. You'll most likely not have an income for 6 months. You're just constantly spending money without making any money. It's especially expensive in this case because London overall is known to be pretty expensive. Like the average meal going out would be like £12 probably. The currency conversion changes, which is interesting because in the beginning £12 came out to like $18, but yesterday I had a meal for like £12 and it came out to $16. So like it is more expensive because their currency is GBP, Great British Pounds, so it has a higher value than the US dollar. So if you're coming from the US or wherever you're coming from in the world, the conversion might just be different. Overall, it's just going to be more expensive, also based on your currency. It just costs money to experience a new culture and a new environment. And it also just costs money to create like a little home outside of your home. So like having certain things in your space that make it feel more like home or that make you more comfortable. For example, I had to buy a blanket here. Pretty sure everyone else did, honestly. But yeah, buying a blanket. I bought a blender for the kitchen because I really like making smoothies. You just had to buy some things for the kitchen, some things for your room. If you like decorating it, if that makes you feel more comfortable, then you might have to spend money doing that. Also, just like meeting new people in general usually means that you have to go out and you'll be doing things that require you to spend money. And another thing is that you're taking public transport every day, so it feels like you're spending more money. But overall, I think if I were to compare how much I spent on public transport versus how much I would spend on gas at home, it is pretty reasonable. But when you have to tap your card to take the bus or the tube or public transport every day, and you see that deduction every day, it just feels more expensive. Sometimes it could be more expensive than gas. And so like whether these things are expensive to you or not, it's just going to cost money. There are definitely ways to budget, there are ways to save money, but overall spending money is just a reality. Anyways, moving on from that, my final study abroad experience reality that I would share, and I also don't really know how to word this, but I would just say like that feeling of leaving home and being away from home in the beginning, and that feeling of going home towards the end, which I'm like feeling right now, is in less than 3 weeks I'll be home. Bittersweet is, I guess, the best way to explain it. It's just a really intense feeling, and it can be really confusing, honestly. Like in the beginning you're really missing home and you're very homesick. In the middle you kind of realize, I kind of created this little home for myself here, and then in the end you're like, wow, yeah, I've created this home here, but now I'm leaving this and I'm going to my other home. It's kind of like once you like actually start to get comfortable, it's like all of a sudden you're leaving now. I've just been trying to mentally prepare myself to go home. That's like having this mental countdown in my head, like, okay, 3 more weeks, okay, 20 more days, 2 more Saturdays, or whatever it is. And also just like imagining myself being home, imagining myself driving for the first time, imagining myself going to the beach for the first time, seeing my family for the first time, all of that. It's like I'm seeing that, but I'm also here. So yeah, it's just kind of tricky. And just thinking about going home, and you kind of realize like how much might have changed since you've been home. Not only how much you've changed, but also like how much things at home have changed, whether that's like your living situation. Like I said earlier, like people had birthdays or graduations or maybe weddings or things like that. People might even have babies now. I say that because my sister's dog had puppies and I didn't get to see them as like actual little puppies. But yeah, anyways, like so much has changed. So I think it's really healthy to mentally prepare yourself to go home, and that's something that is easier because you actually know what it looks like for you to be in that situation. But it wasn't really that easy to mentally prepare to actually come here because I had no idea what London looked like and I had no idea what my life here would look like. Yeah, I guess overall the feelings of leaving home and going home, it's like just really weird. So just try to prepare yourself as much as possible, I guess. Anyways, these are my realities, and as you go through your own realities, these might also resonate with you as well, but you might also discover your own realities. There's so much to learn and know about studying abroad. It's a really unique and valuable experience, and studying abroad has helped me to not only grow academically and in my studies, but also personally. I've learned a lot about myself through this experience, and I can honestly say that I feel a lot more confident in myself just because of that trust that I've built throughout this time with myself, and just become more confident and open-minded in general. But yeah, I just want to share these realities. Big difference between what you think about an experience versus what you know about an experience. So I think it's important to like definitely have your own like thoughts and maybe expectations, but also to be realistic about the situation and know that it's not just that romanticized version in your head, but there's also like a really big reality to it. But yeah, that's all I have for today. Thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye!